welcome. It's your local fandom enthusiast. And today we're talking about the Mario movies. And to prove that I have the qualifications, if this wasn't enough, if I have the qualifications, right? I spent money on merch of this podcast franchise because I am crazy in the head, right? I already recorded this video, but I didn't really like how it turned out. It was a bit too dark. Like the setting was too dark, and I had to stand up, so I was very jittery. And I don't know. I understand that most people don't like me like jumping around. Also, I was excited, so I didn't talk properly. But let's start from the beginning. Number one, we reached 90 subscribers. I don't even know 90 people, so that's a big thing for me. Thank you. Most of you are not watching this video, I can tell. And most of you are like follow me because of the Stranger Things videos or the Dana Terrace controversy, maybe the glitch controversy, but I don't think so. Yeah. So if you're new, I talk about anything. This is my channel, and I do whatever. Like I rank ships. I've ranked. Yeah, I've ranked ships. I've ranked a race character or like a romantic or asexual characters. I talk about controversies when I'm informed enough to talk about them. And now I'm talking about the Mario movie, so I talk about anything. I have another channel that is more, you know, better organized where I only do reactions. So if you're interested in that, go check it out. Once the Mario movie gets released, to streaming services, I will be posting my reaction to the Mario movies. Of course, I already watched many times both Mario movies because I like them, okay? And that's also why I'm gonna talk about them for like the next hour or so. With that said, I do like the movies, but I recognize that they're not perfect. They're far from it, especially the writing. It's bad, okay? Like, it's bad in the best times, okay? And I am first and foremost a writer. I do many things, but first and foremost, I am a writer. I want to become a professional writer. I want to publish books, stories, etc. And I've been writing since I could pick up a pen to write. So I feel like I'm qualified enough to comment on the movie's writing. Also, if you don't think I'm qualified enough, fair, you can leave. Next, how do I do my videos? I basically just talk, okay? I have my list of things that I need to talk about, but mostly I just follow my heart. That's why my videos are always so long, because it's just me talking and talking and talking and kind of like struggling to keep uh, the conversation where it should be. The main thing I want to talk about today are the too many storylines in the Mario movies, and why I think especially the second one is bad because of them. And I want to talk about the pacing as well, all of that. But before, I want to point out that I don't think that the Mario movies are like soulless slop.
I think there's some artistic talent. Okay, I really like it. I've recorded the reaction of the second movie that of course is not out yet because I'm waiting for the actual release, but I've recorded my reaction and I pointed out multiple times that I actually really like the animation, and I think a lot of heart has been put into background details, into the animation in general. And like rewatching the first movie yesterday, even if I was like half asleep and I couldn't even finish it because I was falling asleep, it's really good. I really like the animation, and I don't think it's like comparable to the Minecraft movie. Okay, the Minecraft movie has no heart whatsoever. It's a pure money grab. While I think that the Mario movie, while still being a money grab in a lot of ways, it's not as much as the Minecraft movie, which doesn't make it better, but also kind of does. You know what I mean? It's not as bad. It's not as bad. It has some good qualities, and I'm gonna talk about them because some things I actually like how the movies did, and I kind of hope that the writing, which is what I'm more concerned about, gets better, especially if they want to make like a whole universe. Like I've seen that has been teased. I don't know if it was like a fake news or what, but it has been teased Luigi's Mansion movie, which would be pretty cool. But again, the writing needs to step up. The writing needs to get better.
You can also see from the reference that they made to the actual Mario games that the people that were writing it knew what they were doing to a certain degree, at least. While in the Minecraft movie, the Minecraft world didn't even follow Minecraft logic. Like they couldn't even reference fucking Minecraft in the Minecraft movie, right? That's why the Minecraft movie is something that I would rather forget forever, and that I watched one time when I went to the cinema with my younger cousin. While the Mario movie is something that I could rewatch, even like right now. I watched the first one again yesterday to refresh my memory. But if my cousin came to me and was like, I want to watch the Super Mario Galaxy movie, I would be like, sure, let's watch the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And we got the animated Super Mario Bros. Movie, and it wasn't too bad. You know, the animation was good, and I think the pacing was much better than in the second movie. With that said, it's not good, and there's one storyline specifically I didn't really enjoy. I didn't really like how it was handled, but it wasn't bad. You know, like for an Illumination movie, what the fuck? For an Illumination movie, it wasn't bad. You know?
The second movie, which is where my problems become more evident, they don't begin here, they begin in the first movie, but they become more evident, is that the movie is like 90 minutes long, and it has like 6 storylines, or like 6 things that have to happen, and of course, none of them get resolved in a way that I like that much.
As always, like, if you have a different opinion, share it in the comments. Just be respectful, because I am gonna block you if you are an ass. If you are an ass. Yeah, English is not my first language. I'm a firm believer that you can watch and enjoy and like something even if it's bad, as long as you recognize that, you know, it could be better or it's outright bad. One of my favorite books is The House on the Cerulean Sea, and I know that book is not really good. You know, there is much better in terms of writing, and I know it has a lot of problems, and I recognize that. It's still like one of my comfort books. Before all the controversies came out, by the way, I bought the Italian version and then the English. No, sorry, I didn't actually buy the Italian version. I borrowed it. So yeah, I borrowed the Italian version, read it, and then I bought the English version. And also, like another friend, like bought for me the second one. I don't remember what's the name of it, that I didn't read yet, but you know, I have that one too. Simply because like I know the House on the Cerulean Sea is bad, I still like it, I still enjoyed it, and it's still comforting to me. You know, same goes for the Minecraft movie. I fucking know the Super Mario movie. It's one of those things that it's bad. I recognize it's bad, but yet I still like it. With all the good stuff out of the way, let's talk about my issues, the storylines. Because in the first movie, okay, I pointed out 3 main storylines and then some things that are a bit smaller, I guess, that I will mention. But, you know, 3 main storylines. The first one, which I think is the most prominent all throughout the movie, probably, I guess, it's kind of close to another one, but like the most prominent one is Mario inferiority complex, right? So we start Mario's arc with like the commercial, okay, which I liked that scene. It was pretty funny, and we get introduced straight away to the fact that Mario has this inferiority complex. Like he has this big idea of what he wants to be. He wants to be like a successful plumber, I guess. And he put so much money. He and Luigi put so much money in this commercial because they want to work for themselves, right? They quit their other job, and that's what they want to do. Especially Mario. Like a lot of focus is put on him. We don't really know if that's what Luigi also wants to do, but like probably, I guess. But again, Mario gets made fun of, and his family doesn't believe him. His father is like, you're just like you're ruining yourself and you're ruining your brother in the matter. Like in the meantime, like he's looked down upon, I would say, and that sets up his arc all throughout the movie. I don't have to retell the whole fucking movie. I imagine everyone watched it already, at least a couple times probably. If you're watching this video, I don't think you're sane about the movie. Um, but okay, like me neither, okay? I'm not judging. But yeah, all throughout the movie, he has this inferiority complex that gets resolved when like he has to put himself out there and fights first with Donkey Kong and then with Bowser to basically like save Luigi, and that the fight with Bowser is a bit of combined effort, but that's the goal, at least at the beginning. And the thing about Mario is not like he's not particularly strong. He's probably like more athletic than average. At the very best, he's just stubborn and probably a bit athletic. At least nothing is really special about him except the fact that he doesn't give up. That's his thing. That's both like his flaw and also his merit, like his gift, I'd say, because he's stubborn in like pursuing the dream of becoming a plumber, a successful plumber, but also he's stubborn when it comes to saving Luigi. And at the end of his arc, right, he becomes a hero, and people see him as the hero of the story. Like he kind of achieved this thing of not being looked down upon because, at least the Mushroom Kingdom sees him as this hero, and his arc is complete. And I think that's a good arc. Okay, like the writing itself, like the dialogue, etc., could be better, but the arc is okay. The second major arc, or like maybe this is more of a theme, but the second major thing is kind of connected to this, and I think it's Mario and Luigi's Brotherhood. And I also think this one was done fine, okay? Like it wasn't bad. Weirdly enough, we have like 3 storylines, and only one of them is actually bad, okay? And that's why I'm leaving it for last. But again, the theme of brotherhood, of like brotherly love, or whatever you want to call it, is ever present. Like you can feel it every time, like either Mario or Luigi are on screen, because they constantly mention each other if they're not together. And they're not together for a long time, but the scenes they do have together, yeah, that's right, are very sweet, and I like them. Okay, like I probably have a soft spot because I also have a sibling. Generally speaking, I enjoy stories with siblings more, especially if the relationship is not extremely like stereotypical. I would say a lot of movies fall down a lot of stereotypes when it comes to siblings dynamics, and being a sibling, I'm like, it makes me roll my eyes. And this movie did not make me roll my eyes, neither the first nor the second. I think the relationship was well written. The fact that the driving force for Mario to do things is saving Luigi is a good driving force. Like it's not weird or anything. There are a lot of stories where the driving force is saving a family member or a loved one in general. Now, when it comes to Mario in the brotherly relationship, right, he's the most developed one. My problems start when we get to Luigi. And now I probably have like a soft spot for Luigi because when I was a child and I had to play like Mario Kart or any Mario games with other people, I was never Mario, right? And nobody wanted to be Luigi, and I couldn't even be Peach because I'm a boy. So, of course, I was gonna be Luigi, and I kind of latched onto him because if I had to be Luigi, I was gonna be the best Luigi there was, right? So, yeah, I really do enjoy Luigi. I played the Luigi's Mansion 2 when it came out, and I bought the Luigi's Mansion 3 recently because I finally kind of inherited my sibling's Switch, so I finally have something to play it on. But again, I do like Luigi as a character, and I think the movie could have done better with him. Maybe I'm biased because again, I like him as a character, but I think they could have done better with him because his arc is like centered around his cowardice, how he's afraid of things. And I don't know, I'm gonna assume it was intentional. Okay, I'm gonna give the writers this, but I like how in the beginning it's shown that Luigi is not only a coward in the way that like he's scared of physical threat, like Spike is a physical threat and he's afraid of that. He's also afraid of confrontation in general. When his family is basically making fun of Mario and being like, "Oh, you're taking down your brother with you," Luigi says nothing. Like he just stays there and says nothing. Then later he goes to comfort Mario, but in the moment he doesn't say anything. He's afraid of confrontations in general, not just physical confrontation. And I think that was a good setup. Okay, then we get to the Darklands, and I also think the start of his Darklands arc or whatever is not bad, because he's shown to not fight, right? He's shown to just run away. He doesn't fight or tries to defend himself very much. He just runs away and tries to find somewhere to hide, okay? Because he's a coward. He's afraid. Which, honestly, I would be too if like a turtle, a skeletal turtle was following me and like trying to get me. Like, imagine a fucking turtle that is this tall running after you. I would be terrified, okay? I don't blame Luigi. But again, he's scared, okay? And he doesn't fight. Then he gets captured, and here's where the problems start, because after he gets captured, we basically get nothing with him. Um, we get like the scene on the air balloon with the Shy Guys, and he reminisces about Mario, and like how again Luigi was always the scared one while Mario was the brave one. And I think this could have introduced like the arc pretty well, like the change in Luigi being like, I have like, Mario is not here, I have to defend myself, right? After that we get basically nothing, because we get the scene with Bowser that was all over the place, and that is also the reason why I watched the first movie on stage. I'm not ashamed to admit. Um, that scene, we have that scene where Luigi's still a coward. Like, nothing changed, and I guess it makes sense, because I think in universe he spent like what 30 minutes max on that air balloon. Like, nothing could have changed, which fair. But again, it's one of the few scenes we get with Luigi, and he still remains a coward. Like, he caves in at the small threat of violence, and that's it. Like, Bowser threatens him, and he's like, sure, I'm gonna tell you everything I know. Like, I don't know what they were going for. I don't even know what I would have done differently, because I feel like the movie should have been longer and just allowed more character development for Luigi as well, if that was the goal. Because at the end of the movie, Luigi is no longer a coward, so technically speaking, every scene has to be read as a step toward him not being a coward. And the scene in the throne room with Bowser doesn't show any changes. After that, he gets just thrown into the cage over the lava, and we basically get nothing of him anymore. And like, I think the scene with the when the Kongs get captured, right? And we see them as well in the over, like, floating over the lava. That could have also been a scene where Luigi could be like more proactive, could have done something, could have tried something. Like, I don't know, even if he didn't like free himself again by himself, he could have at least like tried or pretended to try, or just talk in any way, shape, or form that reminded me that he was a character and not just, a prop put like there in the background, right? Because he basically had the role of the princess in the first movie, and he did nothing. He did nothing. Again, we're supposed to believe that he had this arc where he became braver, but nothing shows him becoming braver until the end, where Mario is put in danger and he just like jumps in front of him with like I don't remember what it was, but like I think it was a trash can cup. Is that the word, or something like that? I don't remember exactly, but like, he protects his sibling there, and that's the end of his arc. Like, that's how it gets resolved. He's just brave now, and then he fights Bowser, and that's it. The story ends right there and then. I don't know. I don't like Luigi's arc. Okay, some smaller things that I guess could, like, I kind of feel like I have to mention is the inclusion of Toad, which was there. The fact that Toad probably has more screen time than Luigi, it pisses me off a bit. Okay, but I'm not gonna talk about that. One thing I liked, and I don't know if it was done like voluntarily or like it was an accident or anything. Again, I'm gonna assume it was done voluntarily, okay? And I'll also assume that it was foreshadowing, like wanted foreshadowing, is that when Peach and Mario are talking, Peach doesn't know where she came from, and Mario goes, "Maybe you come from my world," and she says, "Oh, it's a big universe. Like we don't know. Like just because I assumed that Peach assumed they were both humans, but again." She said, "Oh, it's a big universe," which for me, I'm gonna consider it foreshadowing for the second movie. I like that. I like that it got introduced that Peach doesn't know where she came from, and of course she's not a toad because it's pretty evident she's not. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say for the first movie, and I'm already at like almost 30 minutes of yapping, which is a lot because I have much, much more to say about the second movie. Okay, so I am checking right my list. And for the second movie, I have 6 storylines, and I think at least 4 of them are supposed to be the main ones. While in the first movie, we have basically 3 storylines, but one is more of a theme than a storyline, like the brotherhood between Luigi and Mario is more of a theme than a storyline. So, it just evolves with the characters. And Luigi's storyline gets sidelined and it's almost non-existent. So we basically have one storyline for the first movie, a second one that is not well developed, and a main theme. In the second one, we still have one main theme, I would say, which is like family. Okay, as the general rule, I think the theme of the second movie is family. But we have at least 3 or 4 main storylines, and like it's pretty obvious even if you just look at the movie, because there are like three groups are doing 3 different things at the same time. So there are at least 3 storylines to follow. Well, in the first movie, Bowser's storyline was not that important. Like, yeah, he wants to marry Peach. That's whole his storyline. He doesn't go through a character arc, so we don't really have to talk about it. In the second one, though, Bowser does get through a character arc, and I do not like that. That's why I'm gonna start with that. Also because Bowser has like 2 storylines, one and a half, because the other is kind of also Junior's storyline. The second movie introduces a bunch of characters, and while they're not all important or like not important as the others, I have to mention that like I feel like the movie already has too many characters, and it's like 90 minutes long. Too many characters and too little time. uh Again, let's talk about Bowser first. Bowser has a butchered redemption arc, and I don't hate that. Okay, I think it could have been cool, and I like Bowser as a villain. I just think that his redemption arc, his villain arc, I don't know how to call it, could have been treated better. And my problem actually started at the halfway point of the movie, but if we have to consider Bowser's arc, I think that he shouldn't have been he shouldn't have had a proper redemption either. Like his redemption gets concluded halfway through the movie, and then he becomes evil again. That's, I don't know, that back and forth, it's just not good in my opinion. I think what they could have done was introduce Bowser in the beginning, then like introduce the fact that he's been going through his rehabilitation that is clearly not working because he still has anger management issues, right? Just the fact, like, just because he's like buddy with Luigi, he still hates Mario, he still wants to kill him, but basically he still has an unhealthy crush on Peach. So nothing changed, or almost nothing changed, right? And that's okay. Like, that scene could have been left where it was. After Junior attacks, I think he shouldn't have been reunited with Mario and Luigi. I think he could have either turned big again on his own just by being hit, because let's remember that just one hit is what it takes to get Bowser to become big again. So he could have had like taken a hit whenever and not reunited with Mario and Luigi. I don't remember where the fuck they were, because I haven't rewatched the second movie yet. I just rewatched the first. But again, he shouldn't have been reunited with Mario and Luigi, because once he gets reunited, he gets to the end of his like redemption arc, and that's bad, right? He shouldn't have gone for himself. Junior should have found him, and from there was no redemption, so he could have gone back to being evil. Well, again, I think it's bad because he gets redeemed and then he goes back. He feels remorse in a way, but also it's not well written. I don't want to go too much into details, but like he shows a bit of remorse, and Junior goes like, "Oh, don't worry, father," and that's it. That's done. He later shows absolutely no remorse for like hurting either Mario, Peach, or later Luigi when they fight after Bowser became a dry bone. I think that the name is Dry Bowser, but I'm not gonna call him that. So like, he feels no remorse, and so like the redemption was basically wasted time, in my opinion. We could have used that time for anything else, and I have one specific character I would have rather used that time on. I'm gonna talk about her later. When speaking of Bowser, also it's a must to mention Junior and his relationship with Junior. Uh, this is another arc, but it's not a good one either. Like, I feel like all this movie does is introduce things and then kind of half-ass it for the rest of the movie, and then go like, it's resolved now. We're good. We're fine. Bowser has been an absent father for Junior, and in my head, okay, it's been at least 1 year since the last time they saw each other, because let's pretend, okay, that the writer put some thought into how long Bowser spent prisoned in Peach's castle. I would think he spent at least 5 or 6 months. We also have to consider that the previous movie happened, right? So some more time there. And to make things easier on the brain, I would think that like Bowser dropped Junior off to boarding school and left him there for 1 year, or like not necessarily 1 year because we don't know when Junior left boarding school, but let's say like 6 months at least he stayed in boarding school. Then Bowser was captured, and Junior potentially left when Bowser was captured. That's why Bowser had no idea that Junior was out of boarding school, right? And again, I want to give the benefit of the doubt and say that the writer pretended to think about how much time passed between the first and the second movie, and my estimate is at least 5 or 6 months. Why 5 or 6 months, you ask? You can skip. This is all my theory, or like, I don't know, headcanons, I'd say, because we have to consider that again. Bowser had his redemption arc. To redeem someone, you need to spend some time, and just the fact that he was kind of tolerating Mario, and he was like, I assume he was kind of friends with Luigi. Like, it has to be some time passed between the first and the second movie, and I think 5 months is the very least it could have been to, like, first of all, change the cage from a cage to a castle with no apparent walls. Like, it's never mentioned that there are like magical barriers like stopping him from just running off, right? So enough time for someone to trust him to not run away, at least, right? Enough time for him to pick up on painting and start painting, get better at painting. Uh, Enough time to start a fucking book club with Luigi. What the fuck? Shut the fuck up. Like, you understand, like, this is not something that can happen in the span of a week, for example. That's why I would say 5 months. I'm more toward the 6 months, but that's again more of an canon than anything. Maybe it's been 2 years. Who fucking knows, right? I was not in the writing room, but yeah, if I was in the writing room, you would know. Again, Bowser hasn't seen his son for some time, for quite some time, and he thinks Junior hates him, which is not true because Junior like went out of his way to go and save him. So it's an interesting relationship. I think they could have done better with it, because like Bowser never does anything really to prove that he's changed, that now he's gonna stay with his son, that he's gonna, you know, be better. Because at the start his thing is, oh, I like dropped him off and kind of like left him to himself, and that's it, that's what I did, and that's why I'm an absent father. And the movie doesn't really prove him wrong or right either. Like, he's just there now. The only thing we saw is the flashback that proves that he wasn't a bad dad. Is like outright, I don't know, abusive. He was absent, which is still bad, you know. But he wasn't too bad, I would say. Please don't come jump my throat because I'm not using the right word. Like, I'm not saying that being an absent father or an absent parent in general is okay. I'm just saying that Bowser is not portrayed as a bad parent. Just again absent. This thing too doesn't really get resolved, or like it gets resolved, I guess, but very quickly, because Bowser doesn't apologize for not being there. Junior doesn't have to forgive him. They just act like they never really stopped seeing each other in a way. I would have liked some kind of awkwardness. The only kind of awkwardness they have is when Bowser is feeling like he's having regrets about attacking like the squad. And that's it. It's the only bit of awkwardness, but again, not there's not much. I would have liked more things, like, I don't know, Buzzer not expecting Junior to be as good as he is in a fight, or I don't know, trying to be overprotective of him because he doesn't really know his son. Like, it's implied that it's been some time since that they last saw each other, right? Like, it would just make sense. Okay, like, I don't want to talk too much about this because I'm not doing a fucking rewrite of the movies. I would if I had time, by the way. But again, not great. Peach's origins is probably the best handled arc, uh, which is not to say that Peach's character is well handled. I'm gonna talk about that too. But Peach's arc, as like her origins, is not bad. Like, it's the only arc that has a start and a continuation and an end, because at the start she's like, I don't know where I'm from. Like, today is technically my birthday, but also it's not, because this is just the day that Toads found me. And I don't know where I came from. I don't know if this is my real birthday. I don't know if I have a family, like, you know, which that's a good start. Then she embarks on this mission to save Rosalina, because Rosalina knows her, or like the Luma that is Rosalina's kid knows Peach, and also Mario and Luigi, etc., and Comb. So and Peach goes to save Rosalina, also to find out about her origin. And lastly, she finds out that Rosalina is her sister, which caused a bit of a ruckus in the fandom, I guess. I experienced the panic that people had. But either way, fandom panic aside, that's an arc. You know, that's an okay arc, and it could have worked if the writing was better. My real issues when we're talking about Peach and Peach's arc is Peach herself. I don't like how her character is portrayed. Like, Peach is, in the games at least, she's mainly a very altruistic person, okay? And she fights because she has to protect her thoughts, her people. That's her character in the games. In the movies, she kind of just like a girl boss, because apparently women in movies and shows, especially kids shows, can only either be a girl boss type or like an adorable character type. And I think Daisy's gonna be that, but I'm not gonna talk about that because I could open a fucking book about Daisy, okay? Either way, Peach is not allowed to be anything but a girl boss type, even when fighting. Like, when Mario and Luigi fight Junior, they are seen struggling, right? Because it's a fight, it's okay to struggle. And they're two against one. Or like, I guess Kamek is there at one point. Probably, I don't remember very well. I'm sorry. Um, when Peach and Toad are fighting King K. Rool and his whole like casino deal, like, there are a lot of people, and Peach does not struggle for a second. She just goes like, you know, women can struggle in a fight. They can even be beaten in a fight. It's not illegal. I don't like how they end up Peach as a character, because she's not allowed to be a character. She's only allowed to be the girl boss type. While, for example, Mario is allowed to be a character of in itself. He's allowed to have his flaws and his quirks in a way, or like even just the fact, right, in the first movie, as I said, the inferiority complex gets resolved, but in the second movie, Bowser manages to basically rage bait Mario by calling him small and like insignificant, and he still has this inferiority complex. He's allowed to still have this issue that he's bringing along from the first movie. Peach doesn't really have a flaw. Like, what's her flaw? Right. One time I heard someone says that you can, if you can't name like 10 qualities or like 10 characteristics of a character, that character is not very well written. And I agree to a degree. But it's especially evident with Peach, because I can't think of a flaw that she has, right? I'm not even saying like small flaws that are not noticeable. Like, what's her major flaw? There is none. Now that I'm thinking about it, in the entire movie, I don't think there is a character that has a major flaw aside from Bowser and Junior. Like, Junior is the fact that he's, kind of not childish. I don't want to say childish, but he's still a child, so he acts very impulsively, and that's his flaw. Bowser, he's also very emotional, and that's his flaw. What's Mario's flaw in the second movie? What's Luigi's flaw in the second movie? Toad, Peach, Rosalina. What are their flaws? Like, just because they're the heroes, they're the good guys, it doesn't mean that they are not allowed to have flaws, right? And again, it's especially evident for Peach, because she can't even struggle in a fight. She has to be the girl boss that just can do anything and everything and never bats an eye about it. Speaking of women that can do anything, let's talk about Rosalina.
How can you fucking sideline a motherfucking goddess for the fucking Mario Odyssey T-Rex? Like, the fucking T-Rex has more screen time than Rosalina. What are we doing here?
Because this is the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and I would have thought that Rosalina could have played a bigger role than the Princess in Distress. Like, her role as just like the bait, or I don't know, the princess. Okay, Luigi was the princess in the first movie, and Rosalina is even worse than Luigi was in the first movie, because again, for Luigi we had an arc of some sorts, we had some scenes with him. Rosalina was so irrelevant in a way that I completely forgot she existed for a moment. When I was doing my reaction and suddenly they showed off Rosalina again, I was like, fuck, that's what we were doing. We were saving that one. Like, she was so not there that I completely forgot about her.
At one point, Star Fox appears. Like, fucking Star Fox has more screen time than motherfucking Rosalina. What are we doing?
She doesn't even have an arc. Like, while Luigi technically has an arc in the first movie, Rosalina doesn't. I can't even think of like an adjective to give her. The only thing that she's shown is that she's powerful, again, girl boss type, and motherly. And that's it before she gets captured. Like, she's so OP that Aluma needs to get involved for her to get distracted and like get captured, because she's so strong. And that's all she does. I can't even remember many lines she says, right? Also, with the fact that like they kind of changed her backstory, because Rosalina's parents are supposed to be dead. Like, at least her mother is supposed to be dead, and the movie doesn't do that. Like, her and Peach don't have parents. They're like born from the stars again. They're star children. Since they made them sisters, I was also like, when doing the reaction, I was like, why doesn't Peach has powers if they're sisters? Like, why does Rosalina have powers and she doesn't? Like, technically Peach does have power, but only when she's combined with Rosalina. Guess, well, Rosalina also has power when she's alone. I don't know, maybe that's something that they will expand upon in the third movie, if they do one. I kind of hope they do, because again, I like these movies and I think they can be better. Okay, I promise you that someone in that writing room is trying. Okay, at least someone is trying, I think, and the animation team is definitely trying. Okay, so these are like the four main plot lines, but I think there are two more that are like they are there, but they're also not that much. Like they are plot lines, but at the same time they don't get treated like plot lines at all. Like, for example, Toad has this one-sided rivalry with Yoshi, and it gets mentioned in a way, and that's it. Like it doesn't get resolved properly. Toad is not even there during their last battle. Like I get why Star Fox wasn't there because it's the Mario movie, but why isn't Toad there? Like during the last battle, there's Mario, Luigi, Peach. Where's Toad? Like there's Yoshi. There's no Toad. Why? Like since we have so many characters already, add Toad that doesn't do anything in the entire movie. He's just there. Toad is there, just like Yoshi is there. Mario also has a crush on Peach, and I guess that's a storyline, but it gets introduced in the beginning when he made a gift, like he bought a gift for Peach, and Luigi teases him about it, and then that's pretty much it. And then there's a handshake,
A handshake?
and that's it. Like those are the only two scenes where Mario's crush gets brought up, and in the a handshake scene, it's more like about how awkward Mario is. I'd say I don't know, but again, it doesn't really get resolved or anything. It's just there, and again, maybe they teased it for a third movie. But if you introduce something, like do something with it, or don't explicitly state that's a thing, right? Once you explicitly state that, oh, Mario has a crush on Peach, you have to do something about it. And Mario and Peach don't really interact that much in the movie. The scenes they do have together, I like, and I'm gonna sound very misogynistic, but I feel like the best scenes of Peach are with Mario, simply because she's allowed to be more of a character when she's alone or with Toad. She's again there, and she's a girl boss. Well, when she's with Mario, at least she's allowed to be a bit more of a person. Like in the first movie, when they talk and Peach is talking about how she doesn't know where she's from, then at least she's allowed to be a person. When her and Mario are in the second movie are running away from all the traps that Junior has set up, which is a pretty cool scene. I like that. The old, like the scene where they're shown both to like the trust that they have in each other, and the fact that there's friends at the very least, right? They trust each other and they're allowed to be people in a way, is when Mario asks her to jump and to trust him that he has a plan, right? With the umbrella and stuff. Like when they're together, I feel like both of their characters are better, and I feel this for most characters in the second movie, especially. Like Mario is more of a character when he's with Luigi, and Luigi is not a character almost at all. Like he's there to be of support, and Peach is a better character when she's interacting with Mario. Luigi is basically Mario 2.0.
Mario and Luigi became basically the same person.
Just funnier, I think. Like more lighthearted, and that's it. That's what he does. To wrap things up, because I've been talking for, oh my god, yeah, it's been almost an hour. These movies can be good. Like I think they should also be good. I think like the writing team should stop thinking that kids are dumb. Just because it's a kids movie doesn't mean that you have to avoid like harder topics to digest. Like as I said, they changed Rosalina's backstory, and she doesn't have parents. She's born from the stars, I guess, because her parents, like her mother at least, I don't remember exactly, but her parents are dead, and they didn't want to include that probably. But like, why not? Right? Like kids do lose parents or siblings or anything else. They're allowed to see their representation on television. Just because you're afraid that some other kids that didn't lose people are not gonna understand, you're not gonna include it. Like, what's the thought process, right? Kids can understand death or abuse or anything just because they're kids. They're just smaller people. They're just younger people. It doesn't mean that they're not people and they don't have a brain. I don't like this trend of treating kids like they're fucking dumb. Like, because the more we treat kids like they're dumb, the dumber they're gonna get. And if all you're gonna give kids is like AI slop or Cocomelon and stuff like that, all they're gonna want is Cocomelon and AI slop. You have to give them things that are gonna make them think and make them feel things, right? Make them want to create themselves. Like when I was a child, I watched a lot of cartoons, and my main thing was I want to do something like that. I want to evoke, like, not in these words because I was fucking 8, but like I want to write a story that makes other people feel the same way that Steven Universe makes me feel in this moment. I want to draw something, a comic or anything that makes me like that makes other people feel like this comic that I'm reading is making me feel. That's at its core what children's media is supposed to be about. It's supposed to push kids to do things, to be creative themselves, and like in a way also be understood. Again, I mentioned Steven Universe, and when I was a kid, before I understood I was queer, Steven Universe made me feel understood, even if I didn't fully understand why. Something clicked inside of my brain. Same with like one specific episode of Adventure Time that I watched many times. It was just something that made me feel like I wasn't alone, even if I didn't know what this feeling of being alone felt like. And I'm talking about, again, my homosexuality. But it can be anything. Like, if a kid lost their parent, they can watch a show where a character loses their parents and they can latch onto their character because they feel a connection to that and they feel like they're not alone anymore. I think it's more isolating to make every character have a perfect family with no abuse, no death, no nothing. It's very isolating for kids that do go through abuse or do lose parents or siblings or anything, or like that are sick, right? I don't remember the last time I saw a character, a cartoon character with any kind of physical disability or even just a mental disability, because that's not okay to show. Like, I'm going on a bit of a tangent, but that's just to show that the problem is not the Mario movie itself, is many other children's media that doesn't trust kids to have a brain or to understand things that maybe they're not experiencing. And again, that's not how it works. Kids learn empathy also by watching movies, and every movie or show you make is made to appeal to a kid that never went through abuse and never um, had lost a parent or a friend or anything, never experienced anything bad. They're not gonna feel empathy, like they're not gonna learn empathy toward people that differently from them maybe did lose someone or had different life experiences. That's why people always say that representation is important in children's media, because children's media is made to build empathy as well. Like that's why cartoons are structured the way they are. I think I talked about it in one of my reaction to Adventure Time, but like, why in a movie, like in a cartoon or a children movie, when like the protagonist lies, at the end of the day they always have to come clean, because that's the message. You don't lie, and if you do lie, you have to come clean to the person you lied to. Because that's a children's movie and it has a message. I managed to not talk for a full hour, almost a full hour, but not a full hour, and I'm proud of myself for that. If you enjoyed my almost 1 hour of yapping about the Mario movies, consider subscribing, leaving a like, commenting. Again, just be respectful because I'm gonna block you if you're an asshole. And with that said, we'll see each other in the next video. Bye!